Welcome to the U World Order Showcase Program, the platform dedicated to highlighting visionary entrepreneurs and coaches who are shaping the U World economy. Each week, we're celebrating the power of the individual and coming together to uplift and empower one another to reach new heights of growth and prosperity as we showcase a coach, company, or entrepreneur stepping out to be the change they want to see in the world. With our collective efforts, we're creating a world where every person has the tools to realize their full potential and thrive like never before. Join us today as we chat with this week's guest to learn how they got started, what they're doing, and how they're making a difference in shaping the U World Order.
So help me welcome Bridgetta Tomarchio. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. I know that you met Val Kilmer.
Yes.
That was exciting.
Yeah. My life has been very interesting, that's for sure. I used to be an actress model back in the day. I've worked in all facets of the industry, really. I've been a producer. I've worked in casting for major shows. I've, had my own show on TV and film and modeling for big campaigns. And I've been the assistant and the production assistant. So I've been kind of all over the place. And now I am a publicist and a book coach. I do business coaching as well, but to get brands ready for PR or ready for their book launch. So that's kind of why I do it. But that's my passion. But yes, Val Kilmer. So I met him when I was 21, and I've actually worked for him up until about 2018. So I've been on and off working for him. I started as an assistant, and that was very interesting, let's say. And but he's actually been my greatest teacher and my mentor, really, in a lot of business and how to go about it. And I wound up being his COO later on and managing all of his tours and being, literally almost everything, any position you could possibly think of in the company is what I've done, and publicist as well. So it's been amazing. And then working with such big names that I've worked with him, and the Duchess of York has been another big name I've worked with, and many other celebrities. And with her, I worked mostly on books. But it's been amazing. And what I love the most is working with leaders, coaches, influencers, speakers, celebrities, whatever it may be, but that are doing something amazing for the world, I love, and whatever gifts that they've got for the world, I want to help get it out to the world. So my job is to get it out there in whatever way, whether that's from writing a book and getting their message out from a book, or whether that's, with PR or their platform. That's what I love to do. And it just feels really yummy to me.
That is so great. And it really goes along with what we're trying to do here in terms of just featuring people that are being the change they want to see in the world.
Yes.
Right now, it just is like an amazing time because the opportunities are endless.
Yes.
But knowing kind of where you fit in this whole equation is kind of yummy also.
Thank you.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So how are you getting your message out to the authors, coaches, whoever that you're trying to help get their message out?
It's been really interesting, actually. I've always been word of mouth. It's been actually magical that way, especially with PR. It's just always, I worked with her, try her, she got me the book deal, or, it's always kind of been that way. I also feel that when things are in flow, when you're doing something you're supposed to do, more kind of just shows up in that way. And it's been fascinating and interesting. Recently, I have rebranded my whole site to make it more of my niche, because I still had a lot of PR on there, which I do PR. But what I love so much is I love the book aspect and, really kind of diving into that. Sure, I still do PR, I still do book coaching, which you kind of need to have, with the book platform anyway, but it just feels really good. With that being said, there's always different ways to kind of bring people in, right? And being a part of different groups is really helpful on Facebook. So if you're a business just starting out, I definitely recommend, whatever it may be, getting a part of women's groups, getting a part of entrepreneur groups. You learn so much from your peers, what to do, what not to do, ask questions amongst them for sure. So that's been really fun is watching for a while or diving in when I have some advice or, asking questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask those questions because you can get some really good advice back because there's all different kinds of people that are in those groups. And also, sure, you could dive into paid ads. That really is not what I've done. I've always been just kind of, ask the people that you already know. Do they have someone that they can recommend, especially someone that's worked for you? They know you. So they're the ones that, can say, oh yeah, actually I do have someone, that might want this coaching thing or might want this product or whatever it is. So I always say, ask your immediate people first and then see what happens from there. And then of course it might, branch out, but also on social media, putting out videos, putting out messaging that's going to speak to your audience. And, I'm also doing a free event. That's something that's really fun too, is if you've got a product or you've got a, whatever it may be, you yourself or the product, put yourself out there and give a free event. And you may have heard in the past where they're like, oh no, you must have someone pay for that. No, give as much information as you can for free. People need the guidance and need the help. And if you're in service, those that want to, the right ones will work with you. And I just want to get the message out. So on June 28th, I am doing a freebie class on how to navigate the book world and basically how to write the best book proposal you can think of to get signed and get paid to write your book. And so I'm doing that and offering as much knowledge as I can within that hour. Everyone's going to walk away with the best book proposal there is out there and just say, here you go. And if you want to work with me, great. Here's where I'm at, but I love offering that information. And that's what I definitely recommend, anyone out there is giving those free classes, putting yourself out there because who shows up is going to remember that. And they get excited like you're teaching them. And then they're going to follow you on your emails or sign up for, your classes or they are your audience, so plus it's fun and it's good practice.
Alex Hermosi said you should give everything away for free.
Yes.
But then offer to help them implement it.
Yes.
Because taking action is where most people get stuck.
So
you can give them all the information in the world, but until they actually have somebody hold their hand, at least the first time through,
yes, they're
often just stuck.
It's so true. It just takes that momentum. It's almost like that saying of it takes 21 days to create a habit. It's very similar to that. Because when they work with me, they're going to get all of these amazing tools and walk away with the proposal. Are you able to implement that in the proposal? Are you, it's step by step in there, but not everyone is going to. And I think of how many things that I get and I'm like, like even me, I have my own coaches, that I go with. And it's almost like, it's having that accountability really to show up and actually get it done. And before you know it, like it sounds so much to, I'm going to sit down and write a book. It sounds really overwhelming. But when you break it down into these little steps that I do, and I tend to meet with people weekly for an hour. We have an hour to do as much as we can. And then I give homework, but depending on you and your personality, you might be able to handle more. So I'm going to say, okay, here's all these things. If you're a person that gets overwhelmed, it's one little thing. You let me know when that's done. Great. I look at it, give some feedback. Okay, here's another little thing. It depends on how that is. And so we could work really, really fast, or we could just take our pace. But before you know that, once all those little bitty parts are put together, all those parts make up the big book and you're really done in no time. You actually can get through it way quicker than you think, especially if you have a coach. And that goes for anything in life. It's almost like, riding a bike. You don't just get on the bike and ride it. Sure, you're taught the first time and here's the bike and here's how to do it. But sometimes it's so much to think you're like, I just gotta, okay. And are you going to remember the next time on your own? Maybe not. Maybe you need, your mom and dad are there again and you have the training wheels on, and those training wheels are there for you to support you. And little by little, day by day, then before you know it, oh, wow, it's only been a week or 2 weeks, but I can ride a bike by myself now, so it's almost the same analogy for anything that you do.
It is very true. And there are people that they're gifted. And I'll share this experience. I'm laughing because my son, one of my sons, when he was 3, he came to me and he said, Mom, I need Dad's bike because I need to ride it. I'm thinking, you're 3. And I'm imagining myself running behind, holding the seat down the street. Mind you, I had this child when I was 38. So we're like pushing 40, running down the street with your little kid. So I get him on the bike and I'm holding on and he takes off. And that was the extent of me teaching him how to ride a bike. So
wow.
That's to say that there are some people who are just gifted, and that goes to the flow. When you're in the flow, everything is easy. But I've had other kids, I've had 5. So I've had other kids that are like, I ran up and down the street with them, holding the back of the seat.
Yep.
Everybody's different and everybody needs more or less coaching. And coaches really can meet you where you're at.
Yes.
And help you get the next step further.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Knowing who you need for a coach is also really important.
So important to have someone who you feel really aligned with and connected with. And by the way, I was 41 when I had my son. My son's 3. So I can really get this right now. So I totally get it. But yeah, really having that connection, you always want to have a discovery call with a coach, really see if it's a fit, go back and forth with them and see if they can adapt with you, because a really good coach is going to adapt to where you're at. They can read you and they're going to help guide you in what you're needing. 'Cause again, I'm someone that can move so fast, but I'm really empathic. So I can feel into when someone's overwhelmed, and I will ask, I'll check in. Hey, how does this feel for you? And I'm constantly going to ask as a coach, how does this feel for you? How does the, timing feel? Do you want me to slow down, speed up? Where are we at? And usually you can tell in the conversation anyway. A coach will be able to read it, okay, wait, hold on. I need to take notes. If someone's saying that, slow down, slow down for a moment. And one of the things that I normally do is on a call, I'm really big into documents. Like, people make fun of me because I'm like, Google Drive everything. And I like to be really organized with it. And I take really extensive notes from our call and I share them back. So when I'm doing notes if we're meeting one-on-one, you have a guideline of what we talked about. And then once we hang up the call, I'll go back in and make it more detailed and then very clear. Here's the homework at the bottom and date it. That way it's like, here's the date. So they can go back to the date. And again, there are some clients that do not do they don't do well with homework. It's just like when you're in school. Are you the one that did well with homework on your own, or did you need someone right there helping you? Or did you even do your homework? Because it's still what shows up today. And so I have some clients that I know I cannot give them homework. We actually have to be on the call together and I have to babysit it. And maybe they don't even want to write it. They're more of the big thinkers or speakers. And so maybe I need to just get them to talk and then I'm jotting whatever the answers are down. Same thing with, it's funny because even being a publicist, I have a lot of people that are great at talking. And then others that when they see a written interview, they get overwhelmed. They start sweating. They don't know how to do it. And so what we've come to do is, okay, we're going to hop on a call. I'm going to ask you the questions. And I'm going to write it and you just go talk as you are. I might ask a few times for you to repeat it. I'm going to read it back. Let me know if this is how it works. And then once we're done, look over it again and then I'll submit it in. So it just depends again, like how you're working. You want to make sure your coach is able to adapt with you and where you're at. And if not, then there's a million coaches out there. You will find someone that is aligned.
Yeah. And I think that the same goes for coaches. Not being so tied to the outcome, like I have to have a client.
Yeah.
The right people will come to you, though. They'll just come into your life.
Yes.
Just do what you're going to do. And if you can help them, offer to help them. But it's not about making the sale. It's about helping somebody get to the next level. And if you can do that, you should absolutely offer.
Yes.
But if you can't or you don't want to, that's okay too.
Yes. That's
having boundaries as a coach is hugely important.
It's so big because it comes back on you and like, it, you can feel when a client's not aligned, but you're like, I just need to get this, this one more client in. And if you're in that energy, then you're not seeing or paying attention to all the red flags that come up. Well, guess what? That client is going to be the biggest pain in the butt client. And if you lower your value of what you're worth, because sometimes that happens too. We say we're this amount. Oh, I can only afford this. Well, I'm here. And you have to, again, what you're saying, you have to create that boundary of this is what I am. This is where I'm worth. Maybe you have a payment plan and you can give them payment plan options, but again, it has to be paid by whatever date, and having that in place. Or there's actually a company out right now called Coach Financing. If you're not familiar with that, they're a great company. They're fantastic. It's like only a $500 sign up as a coach. You pay once and they go on your website and implement a whole page on there. And then what happens is if someone comes in and says, I can't afford it, they run a soft run on your credit. And then you can see what they apply for. And then once they choose, okay, I want this or this, like a credit card, almost like a self loan, then they can say, oh, I want this. Then the hard credit run comes in and they get paid almost, I think within like 3 days, I want to say, and then they pay you. So it's really great too. If you have that option where you have $500 right now, it's only $500 once. I say, do it. It's so worth it because those clients that say, I can't pay right now. Great. Well, I have this. And if they can't do it, then that's not your client. That's okay. If you have something that's maybe a course, an online course that's cheaper, they could do your online course or they could do your group coaching or they could buy your book, whatever.
If you have a friend who's like a coach that can help them,
yes,
send them over there. Maybe they're not quite ready for where you're at. And it's okay.
Okay. It's absolutely okay. Absolutely. But make sure you don't give into it because you will feel, again, the not yummy. It's like you almost have a resistance. And if they're not paying you for your full value, you're not giving you're going to feel like I'm wasting my time or I'm not giving it. There's going to be some kind of yuckiness there. And the client can feel that too. And so that dissonance doesn't create for a good outcome no matter what. So just avoid it.
And when it comes to pricing things, if you price stuff so they gasp when you tell the price, then you've priced it correctly. It needs to be a stretch for them because if they don't have a lot invested, they're not going to get results. No. And I charge a high price for my clients, not for me.
Yep.
It's because I know if you pay me X number of dollars, I'm going to get you those results.
Yes.
But if you're just like coming in for free or coming in for, half price, then that's the value you're going to give to the thing that I'm doing. So
very true. And they don't always show up themselves. If they're getting something for free or really
everything else is more important.
Right. Exactly. You're going to get some no-shows. You're going to get things not happening that you need in order to do your own job. I think of publicity. It's like back in the day when I gave in and I, cut myself short and I'm like, I had all these things. I have to build a whole press kit, and I was paying out as well, but I didn't think about those things that I was paying out at the time. It was like, oh, okay, But when it comes down to it, when I was discounting, they're the ones that wouldn't show up, wouldn't create their bios, didn't know how to write it, didn't have the photos. Nothing was together. It wasn't easy. It was actually hard. It was harder for me. And it took more time for me to gather all of it and get it together. And then again, it became, so I eventually was like, you know what? It's just not a match. There's many other people that just graduated out there that they might be great for them or someone else that's, at a different level. But where I'm at now, no.
Yeah.
We have my little man coming in, by the way. So working at home, mama. Yes.
Mom,
yes.
I should go upstairs again.
Oh, because I'm on here and I'm talking.
If I want Giganosaurus.
Okay, we can get Giganosaurus. Do you want to go grab me your iPad and bring it to me and I'll put it on for you?
No, we have to put on the TV.
Well, I can't run downstairs right now on the TV, but if you grab your iPad, I will put it on your iPad. Hey?
I can't get mine if you get it.
I love little kids and I love when they come in join us. It's so special.
It's
Because,
the joy.
we're coaches, we're women, we have kids, and they're part of our world right now. And it's so great that they can be part of the world. And it's okay.
You get it.
Okay, listen. How about I give you a delicious, this is my bargaining.
All right. Well, the little man's all happy now.
He's good. He's watching his dinosaurs. It went off is what happened. And oops.
He is a cutie too.
Thank
So
you.
tell us, who are your ideal customers, Bridgetta?
Sure. They can range. I work with a lot of coaches, speakers, leaders, people that are influencers or celebrities that are doing something great out into the world. I love working with people that, whether you have a platform or you don't, that's okay. But if you have a mission to bring some greatness to the world with your message, that's who I love working with. And so if you don't, it's funny, I have a client, which I can talk, her book is actually right in front of me, and it's called Daily Alignment, Tools to Balance Your Mind, Body, Spirit. Lucy is, I love her. She's a dear, she's just amazing. But she came to me with no platform, nothing, no website, no email list, absolutely nothing. But with this idea that was so beautiful. And this was about 1.5 years ago. And scratch to now where we are, she's got an amazing website. Her book is out with Simon & Schuster. We pitched it. We made the proposal. We got everything together. She's got an epic bio. She's now on panels, speaking everywhere. She's got her own coaching that she's doing and a course that's coming out. It's just amazing just to see, the night and day, and her stepping into her own as well. Because at the very beginning, she's like, oh no, it's just the book. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. I think there's more. And so it's been really beautiful to see where she's at now, literally at the top of her game. It's just, and she's got a wonderful message to give to the world. I mean, the tools that she has to offer are amazing. So whether you don't have a platform or whether you do, it doesn't matter, as long as you've got this inspiring message. That's what I love to work with, is people that are willing to be coached, because that's another big thing. If you're not willing to be coached, because I have people that come to me, no, I'm doing this, it's got to be this way. Okay. And that I can work with, that, but if you can't take the advice, then it's making my job difficult. Like, why have me? Why have me there?
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah. And I've come across a little bit of that, right? But you kind of know in the first meeting.
Goes back to, not everybody's your ideal client.
Exactly.
And you need to have boundaries, and
exactly.
you need to be able to say no.
Exactly. Yeah. And big dreams are okay. I love big dreams. I'm also a publicist. So it's like, okay, no problem. I like to work backwards. And I'll say that a gift that I have is I'm intuitive. I'm intuitive with business. So when I see someone and I immediately tune in and I ask, what are your goals? I literally see it here, and then I dial backwards on how to get there. So it's all these steps that we build. So when you start seeing these goals attained, it's also motivating, because you get, oh, wow, we did this and we did this. And before you know it, we're here. And it's like, whoa, so it's fun and exciting.
I can so relate to all of this. So is there one thing that you would really like to share with our audience?
Sure. Don't ever let anyone say that you can't do it, because you can achieve anything you want, really anything. And that was one thing I was told when I was younger. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. Well, it used to be this thing to me where I remember they said, you'll never be on TV. And this is actually a really good example. You'll never be on TV. Oh, really? I was 20 years old. Britney Spears was having an entire audition to be a backup dancer in New York City. I lived in Maryland, so it was 3 hours away. I drove to New York and I sat there. I waited all day long to be seen. I mean, I'm talking like over 12 hours in line, wrapped around the block to be seen. I was one of the very last people to go. And I joked about it. I was like, tired, sweating, sitting outside on the street all day. Finally, you get to the building in like hour 2, maybe, or I'm sorry, hour 10, and like make your way slowly up, and you're exhausted, you're hungry, you haven't left line. Luckily, I brought water with me, thank goodness. And I was like, that's okay. You saved the best for last. And my mother was like, she called me. She's like, you're still there? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. And I don't know why you're doing it. There's thousands of people. So I auditioned. 2 weeks later, I didn't have a phone back then. So it was house phones. They called my mother and said, "Oh, are you Bridgetta? Is she there? She I got picked to be one of the backup dancers." And
That's
so
so cool.
it's just, yeah. And so never let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Because if you put your mind to it and you focus on it, I'm a big manifester too. But if you manifest and you focus on that goal, you will get to it. You can get to it. Absolutely. And so really just having, what are those things you want in your life, being very clear, because the universe is very clear back. So,
Yep.
be
And you
clear.
better fill in the blanks, because the universe will do it for you if you don't pick the color.
Exactly.
Might not be the one you like.
Exactly. Be so specific. And especially now there's a full moon. Not to get too woo-woo, but there's
Yeah,
a full
you're talking to me.
Wonderful. Write it down. Write those goals down that you really want. And if you're not sure, maybe you're just starting your business and you're not really sure who your ideal client is or whatnot. I call it passion to profits. What are your passions? And so really, I would have a sheet of paper and write down on one side all those things that whatever you're good at. Maybe it's children. You love cats. You love dogs. You connect with nature. You love yoga, whatever it may be. You love wine. I don't know. Whatever it may be, you write it all down. And then on this side, what makes me feel so excited when I do these things? Maybe just circle them. Actually, you could just circle those things. And then you could draw a line over here. And then you write, on this side, because you're kind of narrowing it down, right? What would I want to dedicate most of my day to? And maybe if it's wine, then it's, you want to be a I can't
join AA
sommelier. Or, yeah, someone, yeah. Or, maybe you want to be a taster. I don't know. Maybe you want to open a winery, whatever it may be. What does it look like for you? If it's yoga, would you want to be a yoga teacher? Dive into all those things. Maybe it's selling yoga clothes. Maybe it's the mindset. Maybe it's there's so many avenues within that. Start writing them down. Dive into, because once you see your top 3 things that you really, really feel aligned to, and you bring them over here, and then you break it almost like an outline. You're outlining, okay, under yoga, that could be meditation. It could be mindfulness. It could be actual yoga. There's just so many things under it.
Breathing.
Exactly. And you just start writing those down and then start exploring. Okay. If it's breathing and breath work, and for me, it's actually a funny story, but when we go into that, I was always like, I can't do the breath work. And now it's like the best thing in my life. It's the most amazing thing ever. And it's like, oh my goodness, if I don't take that moment a day, whoa. But whatever it may be, break them down and see what feels really good to you. And now that the moon is here, it's that time to start manifesting, to bring it into, and we're in that new cycle, especially Sagittarius moon. It's like moving forward on your passions and your dreams. Do that. See what shows up. Start exploring. Maybe take a breathwork class, take a yoga class, take a mindfulness, go on a retreat. Explore within those fields. Or if it's the wine, go to some wineries. Maybe get a job at a winery. Maybe get a job at a distributor. I don't know. There's many things you could do with that. What feels good to you, and start feeling into what feels most aligned, and then run with it. That's what, I don't know, I'm going on a tangent, but
No, we're on the same page, girl. Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you?
Sure. They can find me on my website, which is bridgetta.com, Bridgetta. Think of the bridge. I feel like I'm the bridge between people, the bridge and a TTA. Yeah.
You need 3 T's. Time to take action.
I like that. I was actually thinking I should make that up. I love that. Time to take. Thank you. Yes, the bridge.
Thank you.
Time to take action. I love it.
Thank you for joining us today. It's been my pleasure chatting with you, for sure.
Likewise. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And anyone that would like to join the free class on June 28th, it's on my website. You can sign up and you'll walk away with many answers or many questions answered and a beautiful book proposal.
That would be really exciting.
Yes.
Thank you again.